Hey there, and welcome to our Trakke Bannoch Backpack Pro review. Here at Nomads Nation, we've been reviewing EDC and travel gear for the past 7 years. And in this video, I'm gonna take my experience and show you everything that you gotta know about this bag to decide if it's the bag for you. We're gonna show you what fits in the bag, we're gonna double check its advertised capacity, and I'm gonna give you my brutally honest pros and cons so you can know if this bag is worth the price. And you're definitely gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because there I'll make 2 alternative backpack suggestions just in case you're not quite feeling the Bannoch Pro. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the gist of the Trakke Bannoch Pro backpack. And I am really excited about this, guys, because after having reviewed bags for almost 7 years, as of recording, this is my first Trakke product, and I've been just drooling over this brand from a distance for so long. And I've been waiting so long, and I got to test this bag for the past week, and it was so joyful, and a couple of things kind of pissed me off too. But if you don't know why I'm so excited, Trakke is one of the most respected bag makers in the world. They're not super popular, they're definitely significantly more niche, and their unique selling points are their gorgeous silhouettes and overall aesthetic, their commitment to using weatherproof wax canvas, and the fact that all their bags are made in the UK, which is a significant contributing factor as to why their bags are so expensive. Like, there's no way around it. This thing is pricey. But this bag is more than just, made in the UK. It's got a ton of features. Let's go over them real fast. We've got dual 25mm Cobra buckle hardware that allows you to get in to the main compartment. Before we do, we have a quick-ish access pocket here and a smaller one beneath this flap. We've got dual zippered opening into the main compartment, a quick access top pocket, dual external water bottle holders, and a laptop compartment that is accessible via the back panel side access. Now there are 2 versions of the Bannoch. We've got the regular version, which is 17 liters, or advertised to be. And then we got the Pro version that we're reviewing, which is advertised at 25 liters, but here at Nomads Nation, we always double check these claims. All right, here you can see the main compartment is fully packed out with our factory grade measuring balls. Now we can also maybe get some volume out of this pocket as it's pleated and has its own independent volume, but we'll do that in a second. First, let's double check the bag's dimensions. We've got a height of 18.5 inches, width of just under 11 inches, and a fully packed out depth of around 8 inches. All right, let's see what the main compartment volume actually comes out to. It's flying everywhere. We lost a few. How many did we lose? A lot? How many is a lot? All right, we lost around 20 balls, so let's compensate 20 there. So as you can see, we're at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 liters capacity. We're actually just a few liters over that, which is great. It means that the Bannoch Pro is actually closer to around 27 liters. If you count the main compartment, all that space, plus you have a top pocket here and the front pockets with a few liters. This is one of the rare few examples where actually a backpack is larger than its advertised capacity, which we love, so props to Trakke for that. This bag is advertised to weigh 1.5 kg. We're getting 1.5 kg on the dot on scale number 1 and 1.48 kg on scale number 2. As of recording, the Bannoch comes in 4 different color options. This is the Bannoch Pro when it's empty, and here it is fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. All Trakke bags are protected by their lifetime warranty, and I haven't heard really any complaints about their warranty, which should indicate that they do a pretty good job of honoring it. And for all that, this bag costs a whopping $524 USD as of recording. Now, that price is going to be our North Star moving forward, as it'll give us context as to whether or not the bag is actually worth it or not. But if at any point during this review you think it's worth it and you're thinking about making a purchase, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. 2 reasons why. First of which, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But the second reason is that link also helps support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team, so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the front of the Trakke Bannoch Pro backpack. We always kick this section off by talking about the aesthetic of the bag, and I'm gonna rant as quickly and efficiently as I can because I think Trakke just freaking nails their aesthetic. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not always my vibe. Like, this is like the wax canvas, sort of like old school hipster look. Like, you definitely, own this bag and a moleskin notebook, and you're going to the French cinema on weekends and you probably roll your own cigarettes. Like, that's the vibe of a Trakke bag. hipster as and my inner hipster adores it. And I'll go as far as saying I think that Trakke bags, and the Bannoch Pro in particular, is one of the most beautiful bags I've ever seen on the market. It's just so well put together, and there's an element of taste with this bag that I was just shocked by. It's knowing exactly what to include, but where to stop including new things, right? It's where to say no. But having said that, it's not all unicorns and rainbows for this bag. There's definitely some things that really irked me about it. But one thing that did not is the primary fabric. This is a waxed canvas, but it's an amazing waxed canvas because it's not like your typical waxed canvas. A lot of times when we think of waxed canvas, we think of this. This is a Waterfield bag. They're Shinjuku Messenger, and they are known for using leather and lots of canvas as well. And this canvas is really, really thick, but it also develops a patina, or is it patina? I never remember which one it is. I always pronounce it incorrectly and then everyone yells at me. I'll get it one day. As you can see right there, it's sort of like a scarring on the fabric, which waxed canvas aficionados love, as it carries the mark of the journey, and it gives the bag a bit of character. But with the Trakke bag, you're getting all the beauty of canvas, because it's a fabric that has soul to it, and is extremely functional because it's very weather resistant and abrasion resistant. But the key difference being, there's no scratching happening.
Patina.
Patina. Okay, patina. I knew it was patina. The Trakke waxed canvas fabric does not get a patina, which means you're getting like the best of both worlds if you're not really into that sort of hipster, marked up wax canvas bag look. This fabric has some cons too though. It's definitely a bit on the heavier side. You might get a little like pilling of the fabric where, see this right here? That might happen because it is typically cotton. More or less, it is a stunning fabric. It's just been wonderful to touch and to feel. And it has so much soul to it. We review a lot of bags on this channel, and so many fabrics that bags choose are like very modern and techy. Even my own bag brand, Firo, we choose a polycarbonate 330D Codra nylon. Like that's as industrial and techy as it gets. So when I see something like this, it's just so refreshing and I love it and rant over. I promise, I hope, we'll see. Patina, okay, got it. It's getting a little toasty in here though. I gotta pop off the sweater. Getting hot and heavy talking about canvas. But let's talk next about Trakke's logo. Also quite cool. You can see it is here, but it is, in fact, removable, because this is a Velcro patch allowing you to customize your bag, which means you can slap your own logo on there if you want to. But this is one of the few bags that I think I like the Trakke logo on it. Even though it's a little bit louder than I typically prefer, I just think, God, Trakke's taste is so good. The name, Trakke, the spelling, the font, the whole package of the bag. I'm proud to rock the Trakke logo on this bag. Now next, let's talk about getting into the main compartment. This is kind of in the middle section, but it's gonna be a bit of overlap because these two pockets here are technically in the front. So let's talk about them, and let's talk about the most important factor of this bag from a functionality perspective, which is these two cobra buckles and how they work with the sort of traditional roll top. Now in an old school bag, you get this sort of flap cover, right? And it would be secured by like, you know, old school buckles, or even older school buckles, like those leather ones with the brass like hardware, and you pin it in, and they're the worst, right? In terms of like functionality, it looks classy. These cobra buckles though are gonna be significantly more, let's say, less time consuming, as to where you just pinch down here, and it's easy and it snaps into place. And I have to admit, I haven't used a cobra buckle in a hot minute, and it was so much fun. I'm really used to the Fidlock V buckles. Those are sort of like replaced cobra buckles, very common, like seen on some Boundary Supply bags, like the Prima system, where it has the exact same setup, but it's connected by two V buckles here instead. I love the cobra buckles. I think that they're just so classy. They fit the bag so well. It gives it a bit of touch of modernness, but it is a little annoying to kind of get in and out of them sometimes, and they're chunky and heavy. Like this is definitely a heavier bag. 25 liters, 27 liters, and over 3 pounds. If you're using this in your everyday carry, like that chunk kind of adds up, and that weight, and these are adding to that. So this is definitely not the most functional lightweight move, but it's a vibe. And you're either gonna love it or not. For me, I don't like it. It's too much to get into the main compartment. I miss a good old fashioned zipper, just zipping my way in. This, you gotta do this every single time and kind of like lift up. Don't get me wrong, you'll get faster at it the more practice you get. And you gotta undo this and then kind of get in here. There's a whole effort to get into the main compartment of this bag, which if you're though preferring a bit of extra security, then that's gonna be a godsend for you. And I think that a lot of what Trakke does is typical for UK culture, right? I have a lot of people that comment on videos from the UK and they say things are a little bit dodgy there sometimes, and theft happens and you want a bag that provides a bit more security from theft and from the weather, because these fabrics and the zippers that we'll talk about in a second are very, very, very weather resistant. So Cobra buckles, not my favorite, but if you like that little bit of extra, a little bit of panache in your bags, you'll probably dig them. So we got 2 pockets in the front. The first one is covered by this flap right here, and it has this gusset in the middle, which does give it its own volume. You also got a key leash. Second pocket, just a big old slot. For me, when I was using this bag, keys went on the keychain, obviously, but really bad location for it if you want quick access to your keys. Like getting my keys every single time was quite irksome. Over the ear headphones, slip in here very nicely. And in this pocket here, great from the book that I've been reading. You just throw some smaller bits of gear in there, right? I'm gonna throw my notebook, pen, and then in this pocket, we can also throw some meds. This is as quick of access this bag is gonna give you. Actually, kind of. There's one other little hack that Trakke implemented that I think is actually quite nifty. But more or less, this is not a bag that's gonna give you the fastest access. All right, that's about it on the front. Let's move on and talk about the middle of the Trakke Bannoch Pro backpack. Now, one thing that I typically loathe about an old school flap backpack like this, which is basically a roll top, is lack of access into the main compartment. Typically you gotta like unflap the top or unroll, and then it's just like a black hole inside the main compartment. But Trakke has brought the Bannoch into the future by giving you these dual zippers that then kind of provides semi-clamshell style opening into the main compartment. And this was like a game changer for me because I need that extra access into the main compartment. Maybe a little bit less so for my EDC, but if you're using this bag for travel, it's a must-have. Now real fast with these zippers, a couple of notes. I don't know what brand this is. I think it says ONS or SNO. And it doesn't say YKK, which is a big bummer for me at this price point. But again, with Trakke, I almost want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this is like some super like niche zipper brand from the UK that I've never heard of that makes high quality zips. If you know anything about Trakke's zipper choice, please let me know in the comments below. But it should be noted these zips are PU coated. This PU coating right here makes the zips a little bit more sticky, like more difficult to open and close. And it does put them in the path of potentially peeling, how about that for some alliteration, over time, because this polyurethane coating, the PU, is plastic. But on the pro side, it definitely helps with weather resistance. Here in our testing at Nomads Nation, we found that a PU coated zipper can block out like 20 to 30% more rain as opposed to their non-PU coated counterparts. But it doesn't mean that they're waterproof, as zippers still have seams all the way down where they're actually sewn, right? Little tiny holes. But this is gonna be a very, very weather resistant bag. Those zippers are helping that, no doubt. One thing I'm not as crazy about though with these Trakke zippers are their actual O-ring zipper pulls. Don't get me wrong, they're extremely functional. Slide your finger in, easy to open, easy to close. But the metal is just very harsh and unforgiving. So I don't want to say it's like painful. Sometimes your finger's in there and you're moving around and it's just kind of like, is my finger gonna snap off? I'm being dramatic, I understand, but the choice of like a steel O-ring here is just interesting. It was a different zipper experience. Not my favorite, felt a little bit harsh. I commend Trakke for doing something different, but in some ways it kind of seemed to conflict, in my experience, with the soulfulness of the brand. And one last thing about the zips is you notice right here at the bottom that there are 2 zips, which means that you can open from this side, the bottom, and this side, AKA the top. And this will give you quick access for when you're swinging the bag over. You can unzip from the bottom. I hope that I won't forget to show you. I'm gonna try to remember. Let me show you the main compartment organization because it's pretty minimalist. We got a zippered pocket at the top of the front flap, 2 mesh pockets at the top on the side panels. That's it. For me, 25 liters, way too big for my personal EDC, but it can carry a lot of stuff if you are a bit of a gear hauler in your everyday. Got a couple of notebooks, umbrella, pair of shoes if you want to go to the gym. But notice like for the smaller bits of gear, like your umbrella and these notebooks, there's not a lot of slots and pockets and sleeves and nicks and knacks. It's not a bag that's gonna offer a crap ton of organization. And one thing to note with the 25 liters capacity, I throw a sweater in here. Also, let's commend Trakke's beautiful internal materials. I love this color being utilized. It helps to give the bag a highlight effect on the inside, but it's not like your typical neon orange. Again, Trakke's taste. They know what they're doing. But not at the cost of like functionality, because look at this pocket. It's got this gusset at the bottom, right? And that actually gives this pocket a lot of volume in those situations where you need it. So these guys know how to make bags. There's no doubt about that. This pocket, I'll throw some tech stuff, backup chargers. And I gotta tell you, I really liked these two mesh pockets on either side of the bag. I don't love the mesh. It feels okay. It's different, it's track. I get what they're doing with it, but there's no stretch to it. It just doesn't feel like the most premium mesh. But I do love the location because when I had to grab things quickly, like let's say I got my wallet in there, although it's not the fastest access bag in the world, there's times where I need something quickly and I'm going in like a vertical access mode, like where's my wallet? I could just undo the Cobra buckle and grab what I need. And in fact, let's give, let's be honest, you can also just push the fabric aside and grab whatever's in that pocket that way, but it's a little bit tough with the zipper right here. These zippers are stiff, you got the metal. It's not the easiest access, like just keep that in mind. A couple more notes on the middle. I wanna say that the nylon webbing used on the connection points for the Cobra buckles feels great. It's very, very thick. It's very, very sturdy. And I've never found a really good thick nylon webbing like this. A lot of the great nylon webbing is very silky and thinner, but this is like coarse, but it feels great. Again, I'm just getting like new experiences with the material selections of the Trakke team. And it's a small thing, but I love these. And it's also secured to the bottom of the nylon webbing with metal hardware. Now let's talk about the water bottle holders, because I think that we're gonna lose a little bit of functionality here. Not a lot, but a bit. Because it's actually quite a tall bag, at least it feels tall. It's closer to 19 inches, right? So a lot of the depth has been, shrunk down a little bit, which gives the bag a little, more of a slender aesthetic. It's not big and boxy, right? That depth has decreased. But it doesn't give us the biggest real estate for a water bottle holder, excuse me. Now our 24-ounce Columbia water bottle fits very nicely in there, but it should be noted, no additional places to secure it. But we do have a gusset that expands, and this right here is like elastic material, but this could die over time or at least get really stretchy, and therefore like making the bag less flush. And I don't think that it really is the sexiest water bottle holder on the side either. But at the end of the day, when you just need to put something on the side of the bag, whether it's an umbrella, water bottle, snack, you don't really care how sexy it looks, you just need that extra space, right? Then the 1 liter Yeti, we can get that in there, but it's a little bit tighter. We're not dealing with a stretchy material. This is the same canvas that the rest of the backpack uses, so there's just not as much give for this material, but at the end of the day, we're getting the water bottle in there. It's okay. They're not my favorite water bottle holders, but they definitely get the job done. All right, that last note about the quick access, just wanted to show you what I'm talking about, that if you want, you can swing the bag over, and then you have the zipper at the bottom. And you can unzip and grab something from your bag, maybe your sweater, or if you want to place something strategically at this point in your bag, you always know it's only a swing and a zip away. One last thing, almost forgot, we got this pocket right here at the top, which is one of my favorite pockets on this bag. Reason being, we are using a bag that doesn't offer a lot of quick access. We've been over this, but this pocket gives you a bit of quick access when you need it. For instance, if you want to put your wallet in it, easy to grab. The orange lining also helps to give it a bit of a highlight effect. But for me, definitely a spot I'm gonna throw my sunnies for quick access to. Now, this pocket's actually quite large. It actually extends all the way to the bottom of the Trakke logo. So you can use it for larger things as well. I mean, see how deep that goes. So I actually found it to be a very functional pocket that I greatly enjoyed using. Last note on the middle is the self-standing test. I'm gonna say this bag is not a great self-stander, but obviously it depends on how you pack it out. Any bag can stand if you put the right base at the bottom of the bag. I'll give it like a 2.5 out of 5, like a 2 out of 5, final answer on the self-standing scale. To Trakke's credit, they never claimed this to be a self-standing bag, but as you can see here, again, if you get the base nice and fortified, it can self-stand pretty well. And just a quick reminder, in case you're enjoying this review and you are thinking about making a purchase, first link's in the description. Just make sure you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what it'll be. And also, if you're enjoying this review, I gotta tell you that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just put a microscope on bags and give you the most in-depth reviews on planet Earth. But we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, instead of looking like really close at products, we're actually looking at the entire industry from like 30,000 feet out. And our specialty here at Nomads Nation is we focus on the world of EDC, carry, gear, and that trifecta for people who are just living a life on the move. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in this incredible community, I'm talking the newest drops, limited edition releases, industry trends, and everything in between, from the micro brands to the biggest brands and everything in between, then you're gonna wanna sign up to the Nomads Nation newsletter, which you can do by finding this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the back of the Trakke Bannoch Pro backpack. Top handle, it's okay. Love the material. It's the same fabric that I was raving about that Trakke is using here. But I don't know, should that fabric be used for a handle? There's no real padding. There's a decent amount of space to put your hand in. But I will say I do like handles like this because they're very easy to hang the bag, especially useful when you're in those, when you're in a stall, in a bathroom. Don't want the bag on the ground, hang it up. Handles like this, very good for that. Now let's talk about the laptop compartment. Accessible here on the back panel, PU-coated zipper. We got a big old space in there. And I'm gonna admit, these are not my favorite laptop compartments for a few reasons. First of all, let's see what laptop it can fit. I got a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and you can see, slides in there, plenty of room to spare. I got a 3D cutout of a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and you can see this is where we're gonna get it in there, guys, but just barely. So no larger than a 16-inch, no 17-inchers are gonna fit in the Bannoch Pro. Pros and cons of this kind of a laptop compartment. A pro is if you're, again, into security, it's actually quite safe back here. You got your backpack strap, and to get into here, you gotta, it's a whole thing you gotta do to swing this around, and the shoulder strap's always in the way, which is a great theft deterrent if you need it to be. I find laptop compartments like this to be a little bit nerve-wracking, because oftentimes I read online that people just accidentally forget to close that zipper. Happens to the best of us. And then before you know it, you're walking to the train, you gotta grab it, and then all of a sudden you hear a crash behind you. Holy crap, that's my 16-inch MacBook Pro. I forgot to zip the freaking laptop compartment closed. But also typically laptop compartments like this don't have the best protection in terms of a false bottom. So we've got a little bit of a false-ish bottom here as to where, there's some padding and it's maybe ever so slightly elevated by a few mm's, but I will definitely say this is not the bag that has the greatest tech protection. But as long as you're careful not to drop your bag like that, because you heard that, right? That's what the lack of a false bottom can do. So as long as you're careful not to drop your bag like that and you're careful to close the zip up, this laptop compartment will be fine. But if you are craving a bit of extra protection, it might leave you craving for more. But one thing that didn't leave me craving for more with this bag was the harness system. I found it very comfortable. Now, the thing that makes any bag comfortable is the combination of the shoulder straps and the back panel. And these shoulder straps are thick, probably the thickest I've ever tested. Oh yeah, almost 3¼ inch width, which I have never seen before, especially on a bag this size, maybe a larger travel bag, but this is crazy. And I almost felt like it was a bit too much. It's really covering a lot of real estate on your shoulders. Now I'm a smaller dude, I'm 5'8", so maybe it's more noticeable on me. But also there is extra comfort in that too, because they're not thin little shoulder straps that are cutting into your shoulders. And I do think Trakke could have offered a bit more padding, because you can see here that the shoulder straps have a thickness, ½ cm, which typically on a bag this size, you'll see up to a cm, and that ½ cm, it really goes a long way, just giving you a little extra cushion for the pushing. For the back panel, we have a very nice mesh material here. Same mesh that's used on the inside of the shoulder straps, which is gonna give the bag a bit of extra breathability. And that breathability is further enhanced by this cut right here, which just gives the bag a little potential ventilation. Overall, I'm not gonna say this is the most ventilated bag, as again, we're not dealing with a lot of depth in terms of the raise of the back padding. But overall, I found it to be a very comfortable wear. Very minimalist shoulder straps too, no load lifters up here, no lash points. You actually do have a lash point right here if you want to clip anything on your bag. And then we have this hardware here, which is basically the same hardware as the Cobra buckle. It is thick and it is chunky and very heavy because of that. And just it doesn't feel very minimalist, but it does give the bag a bit of a futuristic feel. I don't know if it's my favorite choice. Maybe I would have stuck to something a bit more traditional there. But you can see we got a bunch of metal hardware here as a dangle stopper, keeping our little guy happy. And the fastener at the end, also a metal D-ring. And the metal, throughout the bag, it does give it a bit more of a elevated premium feel. There's no doubt about that, but it does add a bit more in terms of just overall bulk and weight. One final note, this bag has no luggage pass-through. The luggage pass-through is when there's like a strip of nylon sewn in, right? And then it allows you to slide the bag over the handle of your suitcase, therefore allowing you to make it a great personal item. No option here with the Bannoch. That means if you are carrying it with your suitcase, you gotta either tie these shoulder straps very tight and do one of those, which barely works, it never works. Or you're just carrying it on your back the whole time. Very unfortunate, because We do have this strip right here. They could have put a luggage pass-through holder. Let me know what you think though. Like, was that a big miss on Trakk's part? Do you wish there was a luggage pass-through holder here, or not a big deal to you? That sums it all up. Let's move on and talk about the overall pros and cons of the Trakke Bannoch Backpack Pro. Pro number one for me is gonna be its killer, clean, classy, but also slightly modernized aesthetic. Pro number two is just the functionality and overall size of this top pocket here. This thing rocked. And pro number three is gonna have the dual zippered access into the main compartment, which really opens things up and helps just give you much more awesome access. But on the flip side, all bags have cons. Here's three of mine for the Bannoch. Con number one is gonna be the overall access to the main compartment, especially when it comes to the flap and the two cover buckles. Con number two for me, I didn't mention this, is there's no sternum strap on the shoulder straps, which will take down the comfort a lot for me. We'll talk about that in a second. And con number three, there's no way around it. This bag at 524 USD is so expensive. All right, now we can take these pros and cons and mash them together, and I'll give you my overall scores. All right, so for the comfort, I'm gonna give this bag a 3 out of 5. Love the width on the shoulder straps, though they're a little too wide sometimes. Great ventilation happening. It's a really comfortable bag. I just could have used a bit more padding on the shoulder straps when I got those super heavy loads. And for me, a sternum strap, like you gotta have it on a bag. I know it would have kind of killed the minimalist vibe. And most people don't need a sternum strap all the time, but again, it is one of those things that you're so thankful for when you got those super heavy loads. Like, it just helps to save your lower back. So overall, really comfortable bag, 3 out of 5. Next up, value, I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5. Now here's the deal. That sounds harsh, and it kind of is, but it also kind of isn't, because I'm just going by like market standards and what you can get in terms of a bag for your hard-earned bucks. Value is completely defined by the individual, and Trakke has been crushing it with their bags. So obviously lots of people find value in their bags for the aesthetic and the materials and the made in UK, which is really what you're paying for. That's value to some people, but just based on what is available by market standards, this is a very expensive bag. There's no way around it. But for my overall score, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. Price aside, like if you can swallow that pill, I think this is one of the best looking, best feeling bags I've ever reviewed. I adore all the materials, all the fabrics, the entire composition, the entire design. Even though I'm not in my hipster days anymore, I love it. Just some access issues and some quirks about the bag keep it from being like a really high, like 4.5, but I think 3.5, very solid score for a very solid bag. And last reminder, in case you are thinking about making a purchase, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description. Just make sure you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold on the Trakke Bannoch, let's talk alternatives. First alternative, if you're new to Nomads Nation, you should definitely watch our leaderboard rankings video. This is where myself and our Nomads Nation team, we get together and we pick our favorite bags in different bag categories so you can get an idea of what the best options are on the market. I've gone ahead and linked that above. Also, if you're new to Nomads Nation, you might not know, but after years of reviewing bags on this channel, I actually took the plunge and made my own backpack brand. It's called Firo. And over the years, Firo has launched some game-changing slings, EDC bags, and travel bags, and we're also building our own hardcore passionate community. And if you want to learn more about Firo, you can do so with the second link in the description. But if we're pretty close with the Bannoch, here's 2 alternatives that might get you a little bit closer. Alternative number 1 is going to be the Boundary Supply Errant Pro. It's a great pick for you if you're loving a backpack that has that old school like front flap look with the 2 hardware bits like securing it. But instead of like classy hipster aesthetic, you want Indiana Jones cyberpunk aesthetic. Because that's what Boundary Supply does best. This crazy combination of like Indiana Jones meets cyberpunk, mash them together, you get Boundary Supply. They make gear with tons of features. Their bags aren't cheap, they're not light, but they do some really cool stuff. And my second alternative is going to be the Waterfield Shinjuku backpack. Great pick for you if you're here and you're like, dude, I'm all about that canvas life. I don't think Trakke is hipster enough. Like, I want to go like full patina. But you also might want a little bit more of a business aesthetic. That's what Waterfield does best. Their bags are, again, not cheap, made in San Francisco. Some of the best wax canvas bags in the game. And the Shinjuku is one of their newest drops, but it's gotten a lot of great reviews so far. Overall, you can't go wrong with any of the bags. It just depends on your personal pros and cons and like your checklist. So if you want to learn more about the 2 alternatives, you can go ahead and watch these videos here. If you got any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you guys next time.